1922, Anand Bazar Patrika first came out as a 4-page evening daily that sold at 2 paise and had a circulation of about 1,000 copies. 100 years later, Anand Bazar Patrika reaches out to more than 10 million readers. Today, Anand Bazar Group has evolved into a media conglomerate that has 8 renowned publications, 6 TV news channels, digital news and current affairs platforms in 8 languages, mobile internet, social media platforms, and a radio station, and a leading book publishing business, education business, and a film production and OTT platform, and many more. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for this historic moment as well. And going forward, it started a regional media house. ABP Group today has established a strong national footprint across the country, touching the lives of millions of readers and viewers on a daily basis. We have with us the Chief Editor and Publisher of ABP Group, Mr. Adideb Sarkar, Mr. Avinash Pandey, CEO ABP Network, and Mr. Dhruva Mukherjee, CEO ABP Group, joining the celebration. A hearty and a warm welcome. ABP Desam first anniversary మరియు ABP Group శతాబ్ది ఉత్సవాల సందర్భంగా విచ్చేసిన మీ అందరికీ సాదరంగా స్వాగతం పలుకుతున్నాం. 1922లో మొదలైన ప్రస్థానం ఆనంద్ బజార్ పత్రికగా 100 సంవత్సరాల ప్రయాణం, 2 పైసల పత్రికగా, 4 పేజీల పత్రికగా సాయంత్రం విడుదలయ్యేది ఎంతో మందిని ఆకట్టుకుంది. 10 మిలియన్ల రీడర్లు ఈరోజు జాతీయ స్థాయిలో ఉన్నారు అంటే ఏమాత్రం అతిశయోక్తి కాదు. అలాగే ఎంతో ప్రఖ్యాతిగాంచినటువంటి పత్రిక, ప్రతిష్టాత్మకమైన సంస్థ సెంటనరీ సెలబ్రేషన్స్లో భాగంగా ఉండడం చాలా ఆనందంగా ఉంది. Ladies and gentlemen, we now move on to the ceremonial lighting of the lamp. To do the honors, may I request Mr. Adideb Sarkar, Chief Editor, to join us on stage, and Mr. Avinash Pandey, ABP Network CEO, and Mr. Dhruva Mukherjee, CEO ABP Group. And we also request the beautiful, the lady who needs no introduction, Ms. Shruti Hassan, to join for the lighting of the lamp. I also request Mr. Nageshwar Rao, ABP Desam Editor, and Shanmuga Sundaram, Mr. ABP Nadu Editor, to join us to light the lamp. అసతోమా సద్గమయ, తమసోమా జ్యోతిర్గమయ, మృత్యోర్మా అమృతంగమయ. అంధకారం నుంచి వెలుగులోకి తీసుకెళ్లవలసిందిగా, జ్ఞానాన్ని ప్రసాదించవలసిందిగా ఆ భగవంతుణ్ణి ఈ సందర్భంగా కోరుకుంటూ జ్యోతి ప్రజ్వలన. Thank you very much. Well, may I now request Mr. Avinash Pandey, CEO ABP Network, to kindly address the gathering.
Good evening, friends. Thank you so much for taking time out today on this Saturday evening. What a momentous occasion that we are all gathered in this room. Not only we are celebrating our 100 years of glorious history, but also congratulating our newborn baby who has achieved 2 milestones in just 1 year time. This is what shows that how strong the group is, that it has its legacy, but it also has a huge promise. ABP Desam, when we entered in this market, we are so thankful to Telugu speaking audience and people of this state who embraced us without having any presence of ours. They did not look at where we came from, but they looked at what we are offering to them. In less than its 1 year of operation, Desam has established a lead over several legacy media platforms. We have 5 crore plus content impression per month right now, which is more than the population of many countries. It's the 6th biggest website on ComScore in the news category, and we are number 1 website for women audience between 25 to 34 age group. So congratulations to the team which has made it possible, and all of you sitting in this room who have worked for last 1 year relentlessly every week of the month, every day of the week. Congratulations goes to you. I remember some of you came from Noida to the launch in the peak of pandemic. And when people were scared to get out of home, I know because of that, some of us sacrificed our near and dear one, fell sick, but the launch went on as per the plan, and what a successful 1 year journey. We are committed as ABP Group and ABP Desam that the core value of our group will remain constant while doing our work. We will be fair and unbiased in what we do, and will continue to serve the people of Telugu-speaking anywhere in the world, including the 2 states that we are serving right now. Thank you for joining this evening, and I hope we are going to get much more engaging conversation and entertainment tonight. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Avinash. Well, ladies and gentlemen, ABP Desam was started with an aim to be the market leader in Telugu. Telugu news, specially publishing, and to be known for an unbiased and higher quality reporting of news from India and across the world in Telugu. The journey started on 29th July 2021, has scaled up to 10 million monthly annual users within 12 months, and stands high and tall among the top 6 ComScore websites. ABP, among the other peers, has stood up extensively, who has acquired more than 2 lakh subscribers on YouTube and growing followers base too. It strongly believes that high quality journalism and coverage of both national and hyperlocal news and human interest. The thought of the centenary campaign is anchored by 3 simple words: curiosity, questions, answers. Listen to this: curiosity, questions, answers. A provocative thought that drives home what has always been a facet of the brand's philosophy. At ABP, a question never falters at the sight of a full stop. The centenary celebration campaign aims to continue to challenge and inspire ABP Group's readers, viewers, and business partners. With a wide variety of thought, provokingly written and visually renders pieces about why questions are important in a democratic society. Now every breakthrough, and there are answers for these questions. Ladies and gentlemen, can we have the AV of curiosity, questions, answers?
City जानिए
Korea City?
बाबा ने भेजा है. Come here.
Curiosity.
Curiosity नहीं, curiosity.
वो क्या?
That's what brought you here. जो तुम्हें यहाँ तक ले आया.
Curiosity.
That was Curiosity Questions and Answers. Thank you very much. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we now move on to the most interesting part of this evening's event. As a commemorative episode of ABP's Dreams Conversation series, we will now have a beautiful conversation session between veteran journalist Kaveri Bamzal and the actor who needs no introduction, but her bio says she teleports for fun. She also acts and sings, daughter of Ulaganayakam, Shruti Hassan, ladies and gentlemen.
Cinema is a reflection of telling the stories of what we see.
From Allu Arjun to Ram Charan to Nag, I mean, who haven't you worked with?
I can have chemistry with anything.
Tamil, Telugu movies. Did she feel out of place initially?
From the time of the 70s and 60s particularly, there were many more female-driven stories.
course.
I think when you hit 30, you're just like, ugh, whatever. Which is
I
the
think-
worst film to costume assist on. There's so many people to dress up.
So-
You can be bullied only when you're like, ouch, it hurts when you pinch me. But if you're
Right.
like, yeah, pinch me more, chalo.
So you missed meeting Shah Rukh Khan in
No, I met him.
I
But
see that in your web series.
Yeah.
I think you're pretty scary in bestseller.
sometimes becomes a chicken and egg situation, but mostly I would say, art imitates
Yeah.
life.
Shruti, it's a real pleasure to be here with you. The last time we spoke was in the middle of the lockdown, and you were still quite energetic doing hula hoops. I don't know how you do it. But today I wanted to talk to you about your cinematic work, especially because we're in Hyderabad, the heart of Telugu cinema, which the world has suddenly woken up to.
Suddenly.
Suddenly. So let's talk a little about that and how you knew that it was always big. But it's just that Bollywood and Bombay and maybe the North just woke up to it late.
Well, first of all, good evening, everyone. I'm so pleased to be here today, especially for such a momentous occasion. And I love that Curiosity movie.
Was it
and
so
I love that
lovely?
kid. That kid was just so brilliant. Well, thank you for having me and pleasure speaking with you. I don't think I woke up to it, honestly. But I do know one thing. I was never enamored by Mumbai or Bollywood being this like special, Gattaca or superstar spaceship or something, because I grew up with multilingual parents and the access to, even the Hindi film industry was quite, I didn't see the difference really. But for me, Telugu holds a very special place because, launching into cinema with Hindi and then Tamil, just a stone's throw away, grew up in Chennai. I never ever had a very deep-rooted historic familial connection to Hyderabad or Telugu cinema at all. But I did remember coming here to receive an award on behalf of my father, and I said I'll be back here to get my own. And I think maybe it was fate and destiny that brought me to the Telugu film industry, a language I never even spoke, and learned the ways and the cultures of this place. And it's been a great gift to me, truly.
How old were you then?
When I went to receive the award, I think I was about 12.
Wow.
Yeah, 11 or 12.
I recently saw a lovely video of hers. She's all of 6, I think. Her front teeth are missing. And her father is introducing her on stage and asking her to perform. Talk a little about that and telling her to hold her equilibrium.
Well, equipoise. That was
Equipoise.
backstage. It was, I think that was the moment for me where I realized, when you're a kid, you don't understand things like ego.
Yeah.
You don't understand, parameters and variables of things. But I remember like rehearsing this with my parents and they had this little skit and then I had to sing. And the applause I got after that, my head didn't compute that it was maybe because I was a kid or whose kid. It's just a feeling I got addicted to, singing and getting that applause. So that's a memory that will always stay very special to me.
You know, the other thing I feel about you, Shruti, and I've seen your work, and I especially loved you in D-Day. I thought you
Thank
were
you.
just, I've never seen anyone looking so sensuous on screen. It was
Really?
just brilliant.
I was
yes.
trying to be, okay, that backfired. I was trying to appear helpless and
No,
needed
you,
saving.
No, you looked nothing like that. You looked very much in command of the situation, as you always do. And in 3, I think you looked and you were just so perfect there. And also,
Thank you.
I think the chemistry with Dhanush was so wonderful.
I like to have chemistry with everyone, even a chair, even a table. I can have chemistry with anything.
But I was coming to the fact that you do have chemistry with some of the biggest stars of the Telugu film industry who we've suddenly realized who are just enormous stars. I mean, from Allu Arjun to Ram Charan to Nag. I mean, who haven't you worked with?
I mean, if we made a hypothetical list, they'd be full of ticks. So I've been blessed. Yeah.
So what has that experience been like over the years? You've done 50 films in 13 years. Sometimes I feel you don't give yourself enough credit for what you've achieved. It's a remarkable achievement. And finally, I think the industry has also, all the industries, they're also sort of waking up or in a way catching up with you.
Not just me, I think
with
women and women-led
exactly.
stories. I'm sure you know, ma'am, like from the time of the 70s and 60s particularly, there were many more female-driven stories,
course.
even in Tamil cinema, Malayalam cinema, Telugu cinema, you name it. And I think just like the West, when you had the Top Gun movies
Yeah.
come in, oh, I love the new one, but still, you know what I mean. That kind of action-packed, male bravado, sort of patriarchal storytelling in a sense. It kind of happened even in the West. So I think we kind of fell into that. And now I just have a slight aversion to the term like female-led stories. Stories are stories.
Yeah.
It could be led by a child like that wonderful piece we
Wonderful,
just
yeah.
saw, or it could be a woman of any age, which is something I'm very much more interested in, because I think the fun part now begins in, it's not enough just to say female-oriented story. It's about how many shades do women have,
Yeah.
how many different kinds of women there are, and how many different kinds of stories there are in our country. So that's really the exciting part for me, and I'm really glad to be in this industry at this time and have the opportunity to explore.
Right. But what is it that you learnt over the years? What not to do rather than what to do?
I think I've learned patience, but not enough. I need to learn more patience. But I've learned a lot from I think especially not so much in the beginning, because it took me a long time to realize that I was in, if it was like the Wizard of Oz, that I was at the Emerald Gates.
Yeah.
Like I was already there, and I was still kind of journeying through understanding, and people would find that surprising because you think, oh, well, she's such and such's daughter, she should have figured this out. I didn't, because I came from a world of musicians and extreme liberal, verbose, kind of different world to what you're supposed to be here. So it took me a while to find my feet, and when I did, I started to enjoy people for the individual traits they had, be it a director, be it a producer, be it an actor, and kind of learned from each person and each experience.
Because let's go back to that fact that you grew up with the great Ulaganayagan, and I think also the wonderful Sarika, who's doing such amazing work even now. I saw her in My Beautiful Wrinkles, and she's so lovely. And you were just talking about her fashion sense earlier, talk a little about that, and then we'll come to the fact that growing up with these two amazing individuals, you knew that they were your parents, but you also knew that they were people who were superbly talented, and they were doing something totally creative. I mean, you were costume assistant, at the age of
14.
14 on Hey Ram, which
is
I
the
think,
worst film to costume assist on. There's so many people to dress up.
so many, but what stars and what
Yes.
legends. And I think a film that really has stood the test of time. I think
But I wasn't allowed to go to the stars' rooms to give them the clothes. I was allotted all the extras and the junior artists. So
So you missed meeting Shah Rukh Khan in
No,
New
I
York?
met him, but I didn't get to like carry his clothes to him.
That's very mean of your father. But talk a bit about that and sort of growing up on the sets. You were saying with Gems and Pepsi, and
Yeah.
you were, of course, the director, the actor's daughter, the superstar's
Yeah.
daughter. But you also had a sense that your father and your mother were doing something totally incredible and creative, I presume.
You know, the thing is, it's that ghar ki murgi syndrome, right? Like when you're at home, you know, your dad or your mom could be the leading brain surgeon
Yeah.
or architect, and you're just like, my dad makes buildings. So for me, it was like, my dad makes movies, my mom is a part of that world. And I used to find it really fascinating to see my friends' parents who went to work in a suit and be like, my dad never wears a suit, you know, to work in the morning. So it's always fascinating, you know, on the other side.
Yeah.
Whereas my friends would be like, oh, your dad's job is so cool.
Yeah.
I never took it for granted, I would say, but my parents never brought me up with the sense of, you know, we are these people. They were just normal parents. And the most valuable thing for me growing up was the school that I went to, because then those parents weren't like that either. They were
Right.
just, and my friends were just like, yeah, it's Kamal uncle. He comes for sports day sometimes, you know. So that kind of set the tone for them being people and me understanding them as people. And they never spoke down to me as a kid. So that helped.
Yeah, I mean, if at the age of 6 your father's telling you about equipoise,
Yeah, it's his two favorite words is equipoise and equilibrium. And I think we're all trying to achieve it till our dying day.
I mean, it's pretty damn tough being in your shoes, but you do that quite well. So, over the years, how have you sort of, as I was saying, learned to say no rather than learn to say yes?
I think it's about accepting your own frailties and strengths. So to kind of feed off of what Dad said, I stopped trying to have equipoise and equilibrium. I tried to own my imbalance
Right.
in every
Your
sense.
flaws.
My flaws. And the fact that, you know, some of us keel and veer towards a different direction. Equipoise and equilibrium can mean different things societally or familiarly. So it was about finding that version for myself, really.
So that journey, you've also been very open about it, which is, I think, what makes you a tremendous star, and I think gives you a tremendous following on social media as well. It's very rare to have someone who's happy to own her insecurities and her flaws, and to admit to them, and you know, say that, hey, you know, I may be like you. And that resonates with a lot of young women.
Well, the
doesn't
funny
it?
thing is, the things I've spoken about, be it mental health
Yeah.
or, you know, things relating to female health, these aren't flaws, but you start to feel like you're
Yeah.
made to feel
That they're-
that they're flaws. So then I was like, oh, these aren't flaws, and you know, whether
are
it's
me,
yeah,
these are
these are
you.
this
Yeah.
is chemical, this is, you know, physiological, this
Right.
is psychological. So I just felt, you know, I grew up reading interviews of like, you know, musicians that I loved, and be it like Kurt Cobain or Tori Amos, so, and they would be so honest about their journey that it would inspire me, and I'd be like, oh, they wrote these brilliant pieces of music from overcoming things and from fighting, you know, and playing in the light and shadow so bravely that I was like, I didn't find it, I mean, it took me a while, but I was like, oh, this is the way to speak to people, I felt.
Right. So the girl who loved Kurt Cobain, who grew up on Buster Keaton, when she did Luck, when she did, you know, Tamil, Telugu movies, did she feel out of place initially?
Completely. I still kind of do, but what I've done is kind of like realize that I have different facets to myself. And if I can't just live in grunge heavy metal land, you know, I wouldn't be
Although
happy.
you do have a safety pin today.
Yeah, I do have a safety pin.
I'm glad.
But
You shouldn't ever let that grungy
no,
girl go.
it doesn't leave, you know, and it came back really hard after 30 because I was like, I think when you hit 30, you're just like, ugh, whatever, you know, so
I'm just going to
yeah,
be
I'm
me.
just going to be me. But I find it really amazing, and I would recommend it to anyone and everyone to kind of be honest to all facets of yourself, even the part you don't expect. And the part that I didn't expect was to be a Telugu film heroine. Yeah.
A Telugu film star. So are you now happy about it? Do you embrace it? But do you still want more from it? Because let's face it, they're big stars, but it's pretty male dominated.
No, I think we live in a male-dominated society, so I want more from society first in terms of that. You know, I don't think it's fair to single out cinema. Cinema is a reflection of telling the stories of what we see. So, you know, it sometimes becomes a chicken and egg situation, but mostly I would say, you know, art imitates
Yeah.
life. I would say that, you know, what was your question?
My question was that do you not want
Oh
to
yeah,
see
no, I'm really happy, you know, finally in the spaces I'm in, because I'm kind of like a ghost that can walk through walls now, and I feel like I very seamlessly walk through my music, through my writing, through walking into even film roles that are now variedly different from each other. So this has been the best time of my life because I've allowed myself to be like a cloud walker.
as you said, a teleporter?
Yeah, teleporter.
Yeah, I love that description. So, you know, I've read some of your lyrics, and of course, I've heard you sing as well. The kind of pain and the kind of trauma that you exhibit there, I wonder if you were to put that into storytelling as well. I mean, of course, songs are a way of storytelling as well, but movies or web series, I mean, is that something that you want to look at?
You mean like if I created it?
Yes.
Yeah,
wrote
maybe
your
in
own
the future.
characters, wrote your own
I think we
stories.
lose judgment of ourselves when we start describing ourselves. So I'm always averse to like, I'm writing an autobiographical piece now. You know, with the songs, it's cathartic and it comes
Yeah.
out like very freely, you know. But yeah, I mean, I'd love to in the future. I'd love to give grey women a voice. And I believe I'm one of those women who live in the twilight and really enjoy it. There's no good and bad, and these kind of things don't apply to my logical mind. And I think those women are the most fun, and I'd love to see more of them, so I'd like to create more of them.
And I think you're doing that in, I see that in your web series.
Yeah.
I think you're pretty scary in bestseller.
Thank you. I take that as a huge
Of
compliment.
course, you should. That's the whole idea. But those characters being written now, isn't that?
But isn't it funny that you find her character scary?
Yeah.
But
I suppose
why?
so. I think
Because she's vengeful.
Yes.
But if a man did it in a film,
Of
you'd think
course.
he's really cool for
that
avenging.
is my conditioning.
Yeah,
of
no, I
course.
mean, it's not
Yeah,
just yours, it's
yeah.
everyone's. And that's the fun I had with that character, which is
Yeah.
like, so if a woman wants something and goes
Right.
after it, okay, and if it's destroying someone,
Yeah.
then it's really bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, but every other action movie is a man destroying
Destroying
lots of buildings,
everything.
cars, people, human beings, puppies on the road, and it's okay.
But that's it. I think so. We are seeing a new kind of woman being born as well on screen. right?
Absolutely.
And you're part of that. And I guess it's something that you're enjoying thoroughly.
I am. And I'm enjoying that even as a human being. Just keeping the woman thing separate, like I'm not like burning BRAs here, but you know what I mean. Like keeping that aside, as a human being, I think we live in some of the most challenging times right
Yeah.
now. And there's toxic positivity online. Like you must be feeling better. You must be sun-kissed with a glow and super happy right now. And there isn't. It's not possible with the pandemic, with the loss people have faced, with you know, the mental pressure that people have faced, financial. You have to realize that we're making the best, and there's a
Yeah.
positivity that's not insta-friendly. It's very real, and each individual person will make, you know, their own hue of what their life is.
Right. And some of the comments can be pretty, they can be pretty demeaning, and they can also be
Mine are
pretty-
not so bad,
Yeah,
fortunately.
Thank God. But when they do come, how do you?
They used to a lot
Yeah.
more. Now I think, you know what, when you say, हाँ भाई मैं ऐसे ही हूँ, they give up. It's just not that much fun to pick on the person anymore. You can be bullied only when you're like, ouch, it hurts when you pinch me. But if you're
Right.
like, yeah, pinch me more, chalo, let's have a conversation about the pinch you just gave me. They're
Have you
just
done
like,
that sometimes?
yes, I have. I've
Converse with your
addressed it.
trolls?
In the sense, I've not addressed the individual troll, because bless their hearts, but they don't deserve that attention. But, you know, in a general sense, yes, I have addressed the topic at large. Yeah.
Or what does she know? She's Kamal Hassan's daughter.
Oh no, I think they've moved way past
moved
that.
on-
yeah,
on
yeah.
from there?
I mean, I'm 30 plus now, and like I've been paying my own bills for a long time, so I think they figured. Although when I do, you know, buy something nice for myself, they say "Baap ne kharid ke diya," so that's okay. I mean, I have the thing, I guess.
I once, in fact, heard you describe your surname as something you carry, like a
A designer handbag.
like a handbag. Right?
But I've got to fill it with the money. Yeah.
And you've got to buy the designer handbag as well.
No,
yourself.
that handbag got passed down to me. You know, I'm
So
very
it's vintage.
blessed. Yeah, I don't even think, well, is one generation vintage? I don't know.
Yeah, well, today. Yeah,
I don't think my father would be like, I mean,
no,
the vintage
especially
term. Don't
not
do
after
that.
Vikram.
No, no.
No.
No. But I mean, I'm so grateful for this name. That's a gift that's been passed down. But I've also been raised with that sense of, it's not just some stuff you get for free. You have to pick it up and hold it up in your own way, whatever way that is. So I'm very grateful for the freedom that was allowed to me, you know, to do it in my own way.
Right.
Yeah.
Did your father ever say, you know, maybe you should do this, maybe you should choose this? Did your mother ever say that? Maybe
They tried.
They did?
Yeah, they tried.
I'm surprised they did.
I think I've just been kind of like one of those kids who is just really stubborn, and I think I'm still that kid who's really stubborn.
So you just did what?
No, I took their advice when it really counted, because I knew that if I don't want to slip and fall flat on my face, though I have done that a couple of times. I don't generally take to advice very well. That's the truth. And advice that's been of great value to me has always come from the most unexpected source.
Really, like?
Like, it could be something a kid says, or it could be something that someone randomly on a movie set said. And then one day and I hate to say this, but I was on Instagram and I read something, and it's a very old quote, and I was just like, oh my God, I'm going to live my life completely differently now. And it said, we are not human beings having a spiritual experience, we're spiritual beings having a human experience. And I was like, how come I've not heard this before? So, and that really kind of changed my perspective to the way I write, the way I perform, and the way I am every day.
Right. So it could be anything.
It could be really anything.
So you took a break, Shruti, in
Yeah.
between. I think it was what, 3 years?
Yeah, around 2-3 years. Yeah.
How important was that? And was that just for your music, or was that also to sort of redefine yourself as a human being?
Yeah, I think it was basically because I felt like I was on this treadmill, and we all feel that at some point. We're just like, you know, we're in the job, we're doing the right thing, we're doing what we're supposed to. But there's a niggling part of you that doesn't want to wake up on Monday at 9 a.m. And then that part starts to take over. In my case, I didn't ignore it. I listened to it, and my version of Monday morning. And I said, no, I need to realign myself. I didn't like a lot of the work I was doing, in the sense,
Although you were doing
I didn't enjoy it.
Yeah.
I felt there was more within me, and that had nothing to do with the exterior world. It was a very internal process of understanding who I was. And then people might say, but what did you come back and do? That's so awesome. But you know what? I love that break that I took, because I could recalibrate myself. And I think whether it's personally, professionally, taking the time to recalibrate and reiterate who you are is very important. And my favorite artists have always done that with themselves and their career. Like, I hate to say it now because she's not doing it, but Madonna, you know.
But she did.
She did it
She's the
consistently.
queen of
And
reinvention.
even in my own home, my father constantly did it, you know. My mum did it in her own way, especially her personal life, then determining her professional choices. So I've seen that a lot around me as well.
Right. So when you look back at that little kid, that toothless kid of 6, or even the little kid who was the costume assistant on Hey Ram, do you wonder would you like to give her some advice, or would you say that, you know, maybe you could have done this differently, or maybe done that differently?
I think the advice we need to give all of our younger selves, and I think, is that, you know, we have dreams that are magnificent when we're kids, and reality is extremely important, but those dreams are like the fuel for everyone's life. And as you grow up and you listen to the volume of other people's thoughts, they start to jade you a bit, you know, and you get jaded and you become anxious and you start to erode on those dreams. You start taking fuel from the dreams that were supposed to live into living a daily boring life. So I would say to myself as a kid that, like, just keep dreaming. And I think that's something I needed to rediscover, you know, post 30, that, yeah, why did I stop doing that? Like,
Yeah.
you know, why did I stop dreaming for me?
Wonderful. Thank you so much. I'm now going to ask my colleague Bhargavi to take over from here and ask a few more questions. Bhargavi? Yes. Thank you so much.
It was
such a
lovely.
pleasure.
Thanks. Telugu industry lo, I remember they used to call me Iron Leg. Easier said than done. Solve the problems one by one. Immediately Bundy U-turn petti, it went in the right direction.
సో గబ్బర్ సింగ్ 3-4 వచ్చినా
Yeah, he's very special to me. He's my lucky mascot. ఇప్పుడు ఇండియా నుంచి everybody's like, oh, they're amazing. మనకు already తెలుసు.
యూ బీయింగ్ అ నెపో కిడ్ పెద్ద ఛాలెంజ్
Please don't use that word.
ఆల్ రైట్ మేము మిమ్మల్ని కొన్ని తెలుగులో క్వశ్చన్స్ అడగచ్చా?
ఓకే, నా తెలుగు కొంచెం వీక్గా
పర్వాలేదు.
ఉంది, పర్లేదా?
అర్థం అవుతుంది కదా?
లైట్గా.
Yes. ఓకే, మీరు యాక్టర్ అని మాకు తెలుసు, కానీ సింగర్ కూడా కదా. ఒక 2 లైన్లు మా కోసం పాడితే బాగుంటుంది కదా?
అవునా?
ఎస్.
నింగే హద్దు నేటికి లేదోయి, నిన్నటికేమో రేపన్నది ఈరోజు ఏ కాదా. ఈజియర్ సెడ్ దెన్ డన్, సాల్వ్ ది ప్రాబ్లమ్స్ వన్ బై వన్.
థ్యాంక్ యూ సో మచ్. యాజ్ ఇట్ ఈస్ యాక్టింగ్ ఇష్టమా సింగింగా?
పర్ఫార్మింగ్ అది నా ఫస్ట్ ఇంట్రెస్ట్, బికాజ్ చిన్నప్పటి నుంచి నేను డిఫరెన్షియేట్ చేయలేదు, బికాజ్ ఐ జస్ట్ వాంటెడ్ టు పర్ఫార్మ్ అండ్ ఎంజాయ్ బీయింగ్ క్రియేటివ్.
Amazing. We love that creativity and we would love to watch you live on stage very soon. Coming to మన టాలీవుడ్ యాక్టర్స్, కొంతమంది పేర్లు చెప్తాను, వాళ్ళ పేరు చెప్పగానే వాట్ స్ట్రైక్స్, ఏం గుర్తొస్తుందో చెప్పాలి. పవర్ స్టార్.
I think he's like really lucky for me, so I call him my good omen, because before that, Telugu industry lo, I remember they used to call me Iron Leg, okay? But I had done 2 films with somebody else, then nobody counted that, okay? I was the Iron Leg. But the minute I did Gabbar Singh, it was the Golden Leg. But the thing was, at the time, he could have easily said, Ledu, wherever I now can be cast. I think between him and Harish, my director, I was really, really lucky to change. You know, immediately Bundy U-turn petti, it went in the right direction.
సో గబ్బర్ సింగ్ 3-4 వచ్చినా
Yeah, he's very special to me. He's my lucky mascot.
that's పవర్ స్టార్. ఓకే, మెగాస్టార్.
Oh my God, it's such an honor to work with him, and I'm learning so much, and he's really, really so well mannered, you know, and there's just a treasure trove of knowledge. So Nizanga, it's like been a dream come true.
ప్రభాస్.
I just really like him as a person. Like he's really a darling. That's all I have to say. Everything else, you know, it's all over the internet and you can just go watch his new movies and all. But he is really a darling. He's very caring.
మిస్టర్ పుష్ప.
Bunny is,
Arjun.
Bunny is the most, like one of the most dedicated, hardworking people. He's like, tuition class lo, there's the people who always raise their hand and give the answer. And then there are people who before the board exam will have 5 revisions, kada? That is Bunny.
5 రివిజన్స్ చేసి ఇప్పుడు సెకండ్ పార్ట్కి రెడీ అవుతున్నారు.
No, he's just really hardworking and very meticulous.
Exactly, even Samantha says that he puts his heart, soul.
Yeah, absolutely.
Everybody does that, but a commitment chala
No, it's just
untundi.
different with him. Yeah, we all study for 10th standard, but some people really study, kada? He's that.
That distinction.
Exactly.
Crazy. మరి రామ్ చరణ్.
He's wonderful, one of the warmest, friendliest people. And again, with Bunny and Charan, I'm so happy to see that ఇప్పుడు India nunchi everybody's like, oh, they're amazing. Manaku already telsu aa vishayam, but it's really lovely to see that kind of flourishing.
నాగ చైతన్య.
really lovely to work with. We did Premam ages back, and it was a very special story because already Malayalamlo a cinema had done so well. So I'm really glad I got to work with him on such a special subject.
And we would love to see more of direct Telugu సినిమాలు. ఇప్పుడు కొన్ని కిడ్స్కి ఎంట్రీ తెలుగు సినిమా ఇండస్ట్రీలో కానీ ఏ భాషలో అయినా చాలా ఈజీ అంటారు. యూ బీయింగ్ అ నెపో కిడ్ పెద్ద ఛాలెంజ్
Please don't use that word.
యూజువలీ పీపుల్ కమెంట్
Nepo kid is like
స్టార్ కిడ్. ఓకే,
Ayyo, star kid, worse than that. Somebody's
being
child
Shruti
who's in the
Hassan.
yeah, thanks.
కష్టమైందా ఎప్పుడైనా, లేదా ఇట్ వాజ్ అ కేక్ వాక్ ఫర్ యూ?
No, it was not a cakewalk, but if I say అవును ఆ ఫేస్లో ఈ ఫేస్లో చాలా కష్టంగా ఉంది, it's really silly. I understand that the surname opened the door. Using that surname, I was లోపలికి వెళ్ళి I was able to make a mark. But the mark has to be made by us. And that hard work is universally the same for everybody. And I can proudly say that my mum, my nana, nobody's picked up the phone and asked for, can you cast my daughter? They said, okay, you want to do this? Do it on your own. Suppose I needed help or, a place to stay, they'll be there. But other than that, no.
ఆ స్ట్రగుల్ అయితే ఎవ్రీ యాక్టర్ లాగానే ఉంటుంది.
Our struggle is the important part of learning how to be professional, whether it's your job or my job. Our challenges ledante we do not become better at our job. So I have no regrets about that at all.
పర్ఫెక్ట్లీ సెడ్. అండ్ కమింగ్ టు మన 75th ఇండిపెండెన్స్ సెలబ్రేట్ చేసుకోబోతున్నాం. వాట్ డస్ ఇండియా మీన్ టు యూ?
India is ever changing. India is one of the most unique and beautiful countries in the world. And I think that we are in an interesting time of voices, and I'm just curious to see what voices resonate and how they do.
హ్యావింగ్ ఆస్క్డ్ దాట్, యూ కమ్ అవుట్ యాజ్ అ చాలా స్ట్రాంగ్ అమ్మాయి, శృతిలా ఉండాలి, చాలా బోల్డ్గా ఉండాలి అని కూడా అందరూ యూ ఇన్స్పైర్ పీపుల్.
Thank you.
అమ్మాయిలందరికీ, స్పెషల్గా విమెన్కి, వాట్ ఈస్ దట్ యూ వాంట్ టు టెల్?
Especially Indian women, I think, are the most unique blend of culture and modernity. We live in the, ee roju kuda ee function lo first mana deepam light chesi, we start with that, that culture, that history is an integral part of who we are. Kani we are also a big part of the financial workforce that contributes in this country. And so I would just say, oka ammaiki education and financial independence and aiming towards that is the only advice I'll ever give anyone. Naku advice ante ishtam ledu, and giving advice I hate even more. But this is the one thing I will say anni ammaiki, that please focus on your education and financial independence.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Shruti.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. May I request Mona Jain to kindly come and present bouquet, please. Thank you, Shruti. Thank you very much. ఈరోజు మరి ఏబీపీ దేశం ఫస్ట్ యానివర్సరీ సందర్భంగా మనకి కొన్ని విషెస్ పంపించారు. సజ్జల రామకృష్ణారెడ్డి గారు, అడ్వైజర్ టు గవర్నమెంట్ ఆఫ్ ఆంధ్రప్రదేశ్. వారి విషెస్ ఏవి? కెన్ వీ హ్యావ్ ఇట్ ప్లీజ్?
I'm happy to learn that Anandabazar Patrika Group has completed 100 years of its journey in Indian journalism. It is a record of sorts. And I congratulate the management of the group as well as the editorial team and other supporting staff on this glorious celebration. Digital media platform ABP Desam పేరుతో ఇక్కడ తెలుగులో ప్రారంభించిన సంవత్సరమైన సందర్భంగా డిజిటల్ మీడియా టీం కూడా ఆ శుభాకాంక్షలు తెలియజేస్తుంది. ఒక పెద్ద హిస్టారికల్ చరిత్రాత్మకమైన ఘనత ఉన్న ఏబీపీ ఆనందబజార్ పత్రిక గ్రూప్కు సంబంధించి మన రాష్ట్రంలో డిజిటల్ మీడియా మొదలై ఏడాదిలోనే 1 మంది సబ్స్క్రైబర్స్ సంపాదించుకుని తెలిసి చాలా హ్యాపీగా ఫీల్ అయ్యాను. ఈ కాలం అంతా డిజిటల్ మీడియాని కమింగ్ డేస్లో ఇంకా బాగా ఇంప్రూవ్ అయ్యే అవకాశం ఉంది. రియల్ టైంలో అంటే అప్పటికప్పుడే ప్రజలకు దగ్గరికి, పాఠకుల దగ్గరికి తాజా వార్తలను ఆసక్తికరమైన రీతిలో ఇప్పుడున్న సమయాభావం, తక్కువ సమయంలో ఎక్కువ తెలుసుకోవాలన్న రీడర్ ఆలోచనలు ఏమైనా వాటికి తగినట్టుగా డిజిటల్ మీడియా క్యాటర్ చేస్తున్న నేపథ్యంలో ఈ డిజిటల్ మీడియా గ్రూప్కు మంచి భవిష్యత్తు ఉండాలని ఆకాంక్షిస్తూ మరోసారి అందరికీ కంగ్రాచులేషన్స్ తెలియజేస్తున్నాం. థ్యాంక్ యూ.
ఈ ఆనందం ప్రజా పత్రిక ఏదో పత్రిక 100 సంవత్సరాల ఆరోగ్య జరిగిన స్వతంత్ర జీవుల్లో ప్రధాన భూమికలు కూడా పోషించిన విషయం అందరికీ తెలిసిన విషయం. అలాంటి పత్రిక 100 సంవత్సరాలు పూర్తి చేసుకుని ఈరోజు మరి పండుగ జరుపుకున్న మరి వారు ఉత్సవాలు జరుపుకున్న నేపథ్యంలో మరి నేను ప్రత్యేకంగా పాల్గొనేందుకు కూడా వారికి యాజమాన్యానికి అలాగే పనిచేస్తున్న సిబ్బంది కూడా మరి శుభాకాంక్షలు తెలియజేస్తూ అలాగే ఈ మధ్యకాలంలో మరి దేశం పేరుతో తెలుగు ఛానల్ కూడా మరి ప్రారంభించడం అనేది చాలా సంతోషం. అది కూడా ఈ రోజుతో నేను ఒక సంవత్సరం పూర్తి చేసుకున్న ఈ నేపథ్యంలో మరి వారు జరుపుకున్న వార్షికోత్సవానికి ఆ తెలుగు ఛానల్లో ఉన్న మరి ఏపీ దేశం తెలుగు ఛానల్లో సిబ్బంది కూడా నేను మనస్ఫూర్తిగా శుభాకాంక్షలు తెలియజేస్తున్నాను.
బొత్స సత్యనారాయణ గారు, ఆనరబుల్ ఎడ్యుకేషన్ మినిస్టర్, ఆంధ్రప్రదేశ్ వారికి కృతజ్ఞతలు తెలియజేస్తున్నాం. Well, ladies and gentlemen, now we move on to a Kuchipudi dance recital, one of the richest tradition and culture of Telangana and Andhra Pradesh. Kuchipudi is one of the very, very profound dance form our very own Telangana. It's a part of the Indian classical dance. We have a beautiful dancer, Shravya Manasa, part of the Sumudra Art Academy, and along with her team to present the Kuchipudi dance recital. Please put your hands together. These wonderful dancers from the Sumadura Art Academy. Well, may I now request Mr. Nageshwar Rao, ABP editor, to kindly come onto the dais and propose the word of thanks. Nageshwar Rao garu vandana samarpana chestaru.
Mr. Addev Sarkar, editor, chief editor ABP, and Mrs. Sarkar, and CEO ABP Network, Mr. Avinash Pandey, and ABP Group CEO Dhruva Mukherjee, and other dignitaries of ABP Group, all the heads are here, and other distinguished guests. A very warm and graceful evening to all of you. ABP అనేది 100 ఏళ్ల చరిత్ర ఉన్నటువంటి ఆర్గనైజేషన్. 100 ఏళ్ల 1922లో ప్రారంభమైంది. అలాంటి ఆర్గనైజేషన్ నుంచి ఒక సంస్థ ఇక్కడ తెలుగులో ఒక తమ మార్క్ని ఇక్కడ చూపించడానికి మొట్టమొదటి అడుగు వేసినప్పుడు ప్రతి ఒక్కరికి కూడా చాలా ఎక్స్పెక్టేషన్స్ ఉన్నాయి. ఏబీపీ ఎలా ఉండబోతోంది, ఇంత లెగసీని ఎలా కంటిన్యూ చేస్తోంది అనేది. ఆ లెగసీని చూపించి ఆ మార్కును ఎలా ఇంప్రింట్ చేశాము అని చెప్పేటువంటి తరుణం ఇది. 1 ఇయర్ పూర్తి చేసుకున్నాం. ఈ 1 ఇయర్ పూర్తి చేసుకున్న తర్వాత ఏబీపీ దేశం ఎక్కడుంది అనే విషయాన్ని ఇంతకుముందే CEO గారు తమ స్పీచ్లో చెప్పారు. సో ఏబీపీ 1 ఇయర్లో ఏబీపీ లెగసీని కంటిన్యూ చేస్తూనే తెలుగు ప్రేక్షకులకు సంబంధించి తమ మార్క్ని పూర్తి చేసుకుంది. వన్ ఆఫ్ ది టాప్ డిజిటల్ ఎంటిటీస్లో ఒకటిగా ఉంది. ఫిమేల్ ఆడియన్స్లో 25 to 34 ఫిమేల్ ఆడియన్స్లో నెంబర్ 1గా ఉంది. ఇలా ఎన్నో ఘనతలను ఏబీపీ సాధించింది. వాటన్నింటినీ కూడా ఈ 1 ఇయర్ సందర్భంగా వాటిని సెలబ్రేట్ చేసుకునే సందర్భంలో, అలాగే ఇదే సందర్భంలో ఏబీపీ సెంటినరీ కూడా ఉంది. ఆ సందర్భాన్ని కూడా పురస్కరించుకొని మనం అందరం ఇక్కడ ఉన్నాం. ఈ కార్యక్రమాన్ని విజయవంతం చేయాలి అంటే ప్రతి ఒక్కరికి కూడా సహకారం అవసరం. ఫ్రమ్ అవర్ ఆర్గనైజేషన్, రైట్ ఫ్రమ్ ఇక్కడ చూసుకున్నట్లయితే దేశం నుంచి నాతో పాటు మా టీమ్ మెంబర్స్ అలాగే హెడ్ ఆఫీస్ నుంచి ప్రతి ఒక్కరూ కూడా ఈ ప్రోగ్రామ్ని విజయవంతం చేయడానికి పూర్తి ఎఫర్ట్స్ తోటి సహకరించారు. వారందరికీ కూడా ధన్యవాదాలు తెలుపుతున్నాం. అలాగే ఈ ప్రోగ్రామ్ని విజయవంతం చేసేందుకు అందరూ కూడా విచ్చేసినటువంటి డిగ్నిటరీస్ అందరికీ కూడా పేరు పేరున ప్రతి ఒక్కరికి కూడా కృతజ్ఞతలు తెలుపుతున్నాం. ఇంత పెద్ద ఈవెంట్ కండక్ట్ చేయాలంటే ఉన్నటువంటి ఇక్కడ ఈవెంట్ కండక్ట్ చేయడానికి వచ్చినటువంటి ఈవెంట్ స్పేస్ ఇచ్చినటువంటి తాజ్ కృష్ణ కానీ, లేకపోతే ఈవెంట్ ఆర్గనైజ్ చేసినటువంటి ఈవెంట్ ఆర్గనైజర్స్ ఆరో మీడియా కానీ, మిగతా అందరికీ కూడా ఏబీపీ దేశం అండ్ ఏబీపీ గ్రూప్ తరపున ప్రతి ఒక్కరికి కూడా ధన్యవాదాలు. అయితే ప్రతి ఒక్కరు కూడా చాలామందిని ఇన్వైట్ చేసే డిఫరెంట్ కార్నర్స్ నుంచి ఇన్వైట్ చేసినప్పటికీ అనుకోని కారణాల వల్ల కొందరు రాలేకపోయారు. ఆంధ్రప్రదేశ్ గవర్నమెంట్ తరపు నుంచి తమ సందేశాన్ని పంపించినటువంటి అడ్వైజర్ టు ఏపీ గవర్నమెంట్ సజ్జల రామకృష్ణారెడ్డి గారు, అలాగే ఎడ్యుకేషన్ మినిస్టర్ బొత్స సత్యనారాయణ గారికి, వారికి కూడా ధన్యవాదాలు. అలాగే తెలంగాణ వైపు నుంచి చివరి నిమిషంలో అనుకోని కారణాల వల్ల కొంతమంది హాజరు కాలేకపోయారు. తమ సందేశాన్ని పంపినటువంటి వారందరికీ కూడా, అలాగే చిరంజీవి గారు తమ రిటర్న్ సందేశాన్ని పంపించారు, వారికి కూడా కృతజ్ఞతలు, ధన్యవాదాలు. ఇక్కడ ఈ ఈవెంట్ను విజయవంతం చేయడానికి వచ్చినటువంటి మీ అందరికీ కూడా మరొక్కసారి ఏబీపీ దేశం అండ్ ఏబీపీ గ్రూప్ తరపున ధన్యవాదాలు తెలుపుకుంటున్నాం.
థ్యాంక్ యూ నాగేశ్వరరావు గారు. మరోసారి విచ్చేసిన అందరికీ హృదయపూర్వకంగా కృతజ్ఞతలు తెలియజేసుకుంటున్నాం. థ్యాంక్ యూ వెరీ మచ్ లేడీస్ అండ్ జెంటిల్మెన్. దిస్ ఇస్ ఆర్జే భార్గవి సైనింగ్ ఆఫ్. గుడ్ నైట్.